Hello, welcome back to King's Academy. My name is Silent Shoes. This is the third lesson. Uh, we are discussing future tense in this module. I hope you really enjoyed the first lessons we have done in present tense and past tense. Now we are moving forward with our third series, future tense. So in this series, we are talking basically active voice. And after, in the coming videos, you can definitely expect I'm going to make a few videos about passive voice. And that will definitely help you a lot, especially students, those who are appearing IELTS and OET. I know that you need a lot of passive voice for IELTS and OET. Yes. So please follow us, and you can always reach us through our social media, WhatsApp, and download our app where you get all the videos. You can send text message and voice message. Okay. Any doubts, always reach us. We provide training for OET and IELTS, right? So without wasting time, let's move on to the today's lesson, which is future tense, right? Well, you know that in any tense, here also we have 4 different seasons: simple future, future continuous, and future perfect, and future perfect continuous as well. So there's a 4th one here, future perfect continuous. Some people, they don't use it, but there is one thing, future perfect continuous is also there. Now, let's see, what is simple future? So the lesson 1, I'm going to talk about simple future. Well, what is the situation of a simple future? To denote an action that's going to happen in future. So which means something is going to happen in future. It's very simple. This is also one of the easiest tenses in English. Now, the formation is subject plus will or shall plus object. That's it. And whether the subject is singular or plural, you can use will or shall. These days, we don't use shall very often, but will is very, very common. We always use will. And there is a slight difference between will and shall, and I will tell you, as we progress. So let's make some example. She will come home on next summer. So you see that the summer hasn't started yet, and she will come home on next summer, or she will come home next year, next month. I will call you tomorrow morning. He will not complete the course. So these actions, you see that they will only happen in a future time, right? So it's very simple, subject plus will or shall plus object. That's it. Sorry, will or shall plus V1, okay? Sorry. Yes. Okay, right. So the verb 1, the first form of the verb. He will not complete the course. Okay, they will help you. How to make a question out of that? Just take the auxiliary verb, whether will or shall, put before the subject. So how do we go? Will they help you? And what if you make a negative? You just put not with the auxiliary verb, whether will or shall, you put not with will not or shall not. So you get the negative. They will not help you. And how to make a negative question? You take the will and not as well, put before the subject. Will not they help you, or won't they help you? This is the contract. Won't they help you? What if you make a WH question? You put the WH word before the auxiliary word, then the subject. How will they help you? How will they got to Mumbai? When will you finish your work? Simple as that. So it's this format is pretty same in every tense in English. And all you need to know the auxiliary verb, that's it, and the verb form. So studying English is quite easy. Some people they are afraid to learn English. They're allowed to learn English, but they are afraid to learn grammar. And some would say that, oh, I don't want to learn grammar because grammar is such a difficult thing. But I tell you, grammar, is the backbone of any language. And the more you are good at grammar, the better you are in that language. So that will give you a lot of confidence. That will give you a lot of flow and flexibility in using that language. So I've been teaching English well over 12 or 13 years. So I always trust students to learn a lot of grammar, a lot of vocabulary, a lot of linguistic vocabularies, a lot of techniques for flow and fluency. And that's it. There you are. So you can acquire any language. So that's it. So keep going. So when will you finish your work? Will you come with me? Won't you help me? We shall finish the work together. You see the difference. We shall finish the work together. So if you want to use will also, it's possible. We will finish the work together. We shall finish the work together. And shall we do together? So that's a question. Yeah, we can change it. So there is a slight difference here between will and shall. Now, just imagine when you want to say, if you want to say to your friend, I shall help you. So what does it mean? I shall help you. I shall do that. Which means it's an action will happen in the future, definitely, but it does not give you an assurance. That is the kind of the real meaning, the real sense when you use a shall. It means I shall do. Yeah, it will happen. That's it. And there shall come. It means it will happen. And yeah. So when we make a question out of that, we shall help. Shall we help? Shall we go? That's it. But instead of using shall, if you use a will, which means a definitivity, certainty. Yeah. So shall means an action will happen. Simply it will happen in the future. That doesn't give you an assurance or a certainty, but will have a little bit more assurance and certainty when you use will. All right. So that is a slight difference. I don't want to go deeper into that, but you just know that when you use a will, you are giving you an assurance, and yeah, so it will surely happen. So will you come? I will come. So, but when you use shall in a negative meaning, like you shall not, which gives you a lot of compulsory, it gives you a lot of obligation as well. So shall has a lot of other meaning as well. When you use thou shalt not murder, so you see that in the commandments, biblical commandment, thou shalt not murder, and in the legal terms as well, shall is always used to make an obligation when it is used in a negative form. Yeah, you shall not. Yeah. So there is a obligation. So I don't want to go into these things now, the different rules and traditions in grammar, but now I'm specifically focusing on tenses. So otherwise it's going to be very, very broader and deeper. Already I know that our students are really, really, not really bored, but it could be exhausting experience, grammar learning. So I'm just focusing purely on the structure, difference, usage of tenses, okay? Not about the different meanings and application. Okay, let's move on to the next tense. Right. So my point is that you can use shall or will interchangeably, but when you use will, you give an assurance and certainty. And when you use shall means it will simply happen. It says that it will happen in the future, but does not give you certainty element. Now let's look into future continuous, the next one. It is used to denote an action that is going to be progressing in the future for some time. So which is the future variant of past continuous or present continuous tense. So we have same future continuous. And what is the situation? It is also used to speak about a planned future event in common expression. So I will come into that in a minute. So the thing is that an action which is going to be progressing in the future, that's what we call future continuous. And how do we form it? Subject plus will be or shall be plus ing form the verb. That's it. And let's make some example. I'll be staying with my brother in Bangalore, which means it will be happening and progressing in a future time, maybe next year or next month. And she'll be practicing music lessons tomorrow. So she will be practicing music lessons from tomorrow. They'll be coming by evening. So, they'll be coming by evening. I'll be working with Microsoft. Will you be working with Miss Tina? So this is the question. I will be, you will be, will you be? And the negative, I'll not be working in Apple. You'll be playing for India. So subject plus will be or shall be plus ing form the verb. That's it. And if you want to make question, you take the will and put before the subject. That's it. Will you be? Will they be? Will she be? Okay. Yeah. So, and if you want to make negative questions, you put not with the auxiliary verb. And if you want to make negative question, you take the auxiliary verb along with the not, put before the subject. That's it. Yeah, I'll show you some example here. Will you be playing for India? So this is a statement. You will be playing for India. And the question is, will you be playing for India? You'll be playing for India. And what is the negative question? Won't you be? So will not you be playing for India, which is the short form. Won't you be playing for India? And the WH, you put the WH just before the auxiliary verb. Then the subject. When will you be playing for India? Yeah, I'll be playing after 10 years. How will you be coming here? How will you be coming home tomorrow? I'll be coming by bus. Where will you be doing your research program? I'll be doing my research in the US. Okay. Yeah, I'll be doing my research in Cambridge. Yes. So that's it. And let's move on to the next lesson. It's not lesson 4, lesson 3. Future perfect. So let's learn the future perfect. Yeah. Situation is, what are the situation? It is used to denote an action that will be perfected by a future time, which means this is a future action and it will be finished in the future. So by a period of time, we say that it will be finished, right? So what is the formation? The format is subject plus will have or shall have plus V3, okay? Yeah, the V3. And whether the subject is plural or singular, no problem. You can use will have or shall have. So again, popularly we use will have in our normal usages and normal needs. We use will have. She can also use shall have as well. Yes. Let's make an example. I will have completed my bachelor's by next year. So what does it mean? Which means the action will be finished in a future time period after 5 years. So we predict it. We say that it will have completed in next time, in next by next year. Okay, by next year. So I will have complete my bachelor's by next year. So you see that is future time by that, and actually is going to be perfect. She will have reached Dubai airport by 5 p.m., which means she has already left. She has uh, boarded the airport, and the flight has already taken off, and she's flying now at the moment. And we say that, yeah, she will have reached Dubai airport by 5 p.m. So future perfect. She will not have reached Dubai by 5 p.m. It's negative. How do you make a question in this future perfect? Will she have reached Dubai by 5 p.m.? You see that what did we take out and put before the subject? Just will. Remember that, not will have, only the will. So you take this auxiliary verb and just put the subject and we get the question. The same thing as in any cases, if you want to make a native question, put the not asphalt with the will. Once she have reached Dubai airport at 5 p.m., yes, she will have. When will she have reached Dubai? That is the WH. You just put the WH before the auxiliary verb. Then we have reached the very last tense. In fact, it is the last tense in the entire active voice. Future perfect, continuous tense. Sometimes we use it. It's not so popular one as other tenses, but you should know it. There is something called future perfect continuous. What is the situation here? It is used to denote an action that will be in progress for a period of time or continuing infinitely, which means it will be going towards infinitely. It is going towards the infinite future. That's it. So what is the formation here? Subject plus will have been or shall have been plus ing form of the verb. If the subject is singular, plural, you can use will or shall interchangeably. No problem. And let's make some example here. Yeah, I told you we don't use this tense quite often, but sometimes people use it. Future continuous and future perfect continuous also interchangeably, but you should know the accurate to use. If you want to use some, if you want to say about an action which will be going and continuing or progressing towards a very, very, very long period or an infinite time interval in the future, always use this one, future perfect continuous tense. Okay, I'll give you some example. You will understand. Yes, yeah. I will have been working on my new business idea for the next 3 years before I will join on my PhD. You see that? So there is a future period. It's okay. If there's a future period, don't use future continuous. I have been working on my business idea for the next 3 years before I join on my PhD. When I turn 35, I will have been studying music for 20 years. Again, there is a time period. You can use it. Human being will have been researching on alternative energy source for coming decades. Okay, for coming decades. All right, coming years or coming decades. So let's make some a little bit more. Make some changes. Coming decades. Decades means what? Decade, 10 years. Right. So human being will have been researching on alternate energy sources for coming decades. Will you have been working all days next week? So which means, will you be working for the whole period in the next week? So will you have been working all days next week? Will we have been trying to find life on other planets still? So you see that we've been trying to find the source or the traces or the signs of life on other planets. Still, we haven't found anything. We just spent billions and billions. Countries like US, China, and India, Russia, but we haven't got anything. We just got some pictures of some signs of water flow. That's it. So we can say that will you have been trying to find life on other planets still? So will it be continuing? Will we have been trying to find life on other planets still for the next? So the question talks about, are we still going to do for the next 50 years or 100 years? So all these tenses talking about future infinite action that will have been going on in a future period infinitely. When we have been fighting each other, right? Okay. Yeah. So when we have been fighting each other, right? So this is the question. We know that countries are always fighting each other. It's not really good. So how will we have been living with the God eternally? We believe that after our death, there is a time we will live eternally with the God. So that is an infinite future action which will be going on, progressing continually for a longer period, continually. So it's an infinite action in the future. So how will we have been living with the God eternally? I don't know. Bible says that it's going to be great, holy, and fantastic. So how will we have been living with God eternally? So these are the kind of examples or situations we use in future perfect continuous, like when there is a future time interval, future time period, if the action is going to be continuing for a longer period of time in the future, we use it. And if the action is going for an infinite time in the future, we use it. Right. So having said that, we have come to the end of our first series of lessons, which is active voice. Brilliant. I hope you really enjoyed it. Any doubts, always send a text message or voice message to my app or reach me through my WhatsApp or Facebook. Now, let's wait for our next lesson. Our next series is launching passive voice. So stay tuned. These are all very important lessons for students like IELTS and OET students, as well as these are major components of spoken English as well. So the next lesson is passive voice. Okay, so I'll be discussing about the passive forms of all these tenses in active voice, which we have already explained. So we'll meet you in our next lesson. Bye bye. Thank you.